Hello and welcome into another edition of That's So Dolphins Talk. I'm myself, Johnny Bake Show, and the co-pilot Trigger Trey. The Finns win about the most awful display of football I think I've ever seen. It was they won. They won. But I'm done. I'm done with McDaniel. Done with him. I don't care what they do. If they fire Greer, cool. That needs to be done. But there needs to be some significant changes to this coaching staff because I cannot handle another season of screen pass left, screen pass right, toss left, toss right. There's no. It's so scripted. There's no variety. It's boneheaded. This guy is 4-18 on challenges.
So bad. Here's the problem though. Here's what sucks. I wanted to challenge both of them. I thought they were both. I think Huntley had the first down. I still think I think if that was called first down,
Yeah,
we would have got it. So I honestly I didn't hate that challenge, and I kind of thought that was a backwards pass. The only thing I was worried about is that I didn't see it didn't look like we had a clear recovery, but it was like super late after the whistle. So I thought they were just going to say the play was absolutely dead. Like there's no way that we could justify a clear recovery because the ball was still moving when we blew the whistle.
Yeah.
So I think like but historically he's awful at challenges. So I mean he doesn't get the benefit of the doubt. So
No.
I think like one thing I will say with McDaniel is I listened to his press conference yesterday, and we'll get to the Tua thing at some point. But when he described that fourth down call where they did the classic Madden play, fake fullback, halfback toss to the outside, right?
It doesn't work. We talked about this last week and the week before. It doesn't fucking work.
Come to find out that play is only set up for a very specific defense, and that it wasn't. They weren't in the deep, so they were out. So it looked like Lamb fucked up, but Lamb was actually supposed to have a down block there from either a tight end or receiver or somebody. So that's why Lamb didn't go out and get that guy and just let him go by because he was supposed to have a down block.
Yeah.
So, and he even said he's like, I mean, I understand how it looked. Like it obviously didn't work out. Like I'm not sitting here saying like it was a good call. Clearly it was a bad call because it didn't work. But this is what I had in mind. So I did appreciate that, him being candid about that in between the 184 ums that he displays. But my biggest thing with Mike from yesterday was like when we had the lead, it felt like we were playing like super, super safe. Like there was not like when we were running the ball, it was inside the tackles, at the two guards that are horrible, by the way. And any other time we were going outside, it was that jet motion toss or that weird motion from like Mostert or HM where it's like a rocket motion where they're running at a shotgun and we kind of hand it off to them. So like I would have liked to seen a little bit more traditional pistol outside zone. Like I didn't see a lot of that. Also Myles Garrett was just a menace. Like their D-line's good. Like I'm not gonna sit here and say they aren't, but we got to be able to run the football if we're gonna win any meaningful football games.
It's incredibly frustrating for me because all that, like, McDaniel will get up there and he'll say, well, we're an outside zone team, but he won't run outside zone for like 4 straight series. And like, it's 4th and 1. Just ram it right up the middle. I don't care if you get stuffed. I'd rather you get stuffed running it right up the middle than trying to get cutesy and go on a fake toss or whatever you're trying to do there.
Yeah.
That's just, it's infuriating.
I don't know why they didn't QB sneak. You have Tyler Huntley, just QB sneak.
It's not in the playbook. He can't run it with Tua. Why would he have it with Huntley? It's maddening. I can't.
On the playbook? That's not even a play. It's take the snap and fall forward.
It ain't even on the play sheet. It's screen left, screen right, toss left, toss right. That's all he's got. and he's gonna hot route to a 5 yard out. That's all that they're. That's all the playbook is. It's infuriating. But
Huntley did look good slanging those slants though.
Huntley,
So let's talk about before we get into the game. Let's talk about the Tua situation because I think that was like the most baffling thing that I've experienced. So
so
you
yeah,
get, did you
from
listen to the press conference or
I didn't listen to the press conference, but what I so like I had known that there was because they said that there was like small inklings that like he hurt his hip after that Texans game because they had said it, but they said that it wasn't serious because it wasn't in the same area. I don't know
right?
like are we talking high hip like pelvis? We talking like actual on your hip or are we talking like low hip? Like where are we talking about in the hip here? I guess is the big
Right,
question.
right.
So but it's been confirmed that it's not the same style of hurt that it was like it's not the same area of where his injury was obviously whenever he dislocated. So it's not so I guess that's I don't know if it's like a deep bone bruise or just uncomfortability or what. I don't know. But they said
Yeah.
it's not that.
So he had that. He re-aggravated in the San Francisco game,
Yeah.
and they assumed that his body would have the same timeline as it did for the Texans game.
Yeah.
So he hurt it, practice blah 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 through the week, still good to play. Plays in San Francisco. He hurts it again in San Francisco. They assumed blah 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 blah
Mhm.
blah through the week, play the game. So I guess as they were practicing, from what I understood, I'm sure they check it daily or x-ray him daily, whatever it is, and it wasn't healing like at all. So like him going into that game, like it wasn't even an option for him to play. It's not like it was like, well, he could play, but we might not make that. Like, wasn't even an option because the risk for re-injury was so high, and it wasn't gonna. It's like it's not healing properly because of the constant torque on it. So
Yeah, and I totally understand that, and I know that Calais Campbell had said like, okay, he told me like Wednesday or Thursday that it doesn't feel good, but they're gonna have to literally pull me to make me not play. So, and that's what
yeah,
they did. So, if you're literally one of those Elite Marino on Twitter, if you're Mick McDaniel, if you're TD Finns talk, if you are all of these clowns that are all over Twitter and you're saying, "Oh, I can't handle this. My pussy hurts." You know what? Fuck you guys. I'm so this they make being a fan so unfun for this team. It like yes,
Dolphins Twitter's bad.
Dolphins Twitter is a cesspool of just terrible football takes, and I'm so tired of hearing about it. Oh, I can't play with Oos anymore. Oos ain't my guy. You know what? Get a pair of nuts because we're going to Buffalo. That's what's happening in 2 weeks. We might get blowed but we're going to be in Buffalo.
Can't beat a team three times. Can't beat a team three times. Can't happen. Won't happen. So that's Tua. We go in with Snoop Huntley. Snoop is way more comfortable in the offense than I expected.
That was nice.
Um, we had 19 penalties, and only like two of them were pre-snap issues. So I think that falls on that officiating crew more than anything, who year to date has more penalties than any officiating crew in the NFL. So like who the fuck's talking to those guys? Why are they just allowed to just be that? And no, everyone's like, yeah, it's cool. Product was terrible yesterday. I
Yeah.
literally would have been fine with them letting shit slide on both sides. Like, uh, if the answer is to call a flag equally so many times, then how about we just don't call the flag equally so many times? And then
Yeah.
the game's more fun to watch.
Yeah. It's because I know Uncle Frank, he was tweeting about Ron Tolbert and their officiating crew. And it's the Dolphins. That's like the third game they've ever won whenever Ron Tolbert was the um, main official. So, uh, yeah, it was brutal out there. Everything was a flag. And I get that, like, we do a lot of operational things on the offense where it's very questionable. Like, are we, I don't know. It's just frustrating because you no sooner get something going and then there's like a really stupid flag that they wouldn't have called it last week. They probably will never call it next week. Like, they wouldn't even call that in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And
That unnecessary roughness on Brooks.
that was
Like
bad.
I'm not going to harp on officiating, but 19 plus accepted penalties. That's not even the ones that were that like we were just like, hey, we're just going to decline that because they're already in
Yeah.
second and 500. So let's just not give them a chance to have another play. Let's
If
make it third and 500
if
instead of
you
second and 600.
it, I understand like that's kind of like that Eagles game last year where there was like 37 penalties or whatever it felt like. If
Yeah,
you're if you are a if you're in an NFL game, like if there's more than 10 officiating or if there's more than 10 penalties called, like
you're doing too
there's
much.
they're doing too much. So
Again, if it's not egregious and doesn't, there's nothing worse than a backside holding that does not affect the play at all.
I that's
Why?
just the worst call ever.
Those are the ones you let slide for both teams, and everyone's fine with it. No one's up in arms.
Yeah.
If it's at the point of attack and they fucking tackle the dude, or they rip a guy's face mask off trying to tackle him, or they, run through him trying to get an interception like it's happened to John Who, like those are the penalties you need to call. They clearly affected the play. But if it's a fucking backside like holding call or some stupid shit, or
It
like the
doesn't
gunner
affect the
being
play
out
at
of
all.
bounds too long on a fair catch. Who cares?
Yes, thank you.
So
Yeah,
anyway,
yesterday was
that's
bad.
my rant on the refs. But so we go into that game. Tyler Huntley at quarterback. I was doom and gloom until
I
I
was
lit.
too.
I was so down, dude, because I watched Snoop's first game live, and
Yeah, you were there.
it was bad, and I was drunk. So man, how bad it was sober. So I didn't want to deal with that. But he pleasantly surprised me. I lit the lava lamp of love from
Hmm.
Ghost of Dolphins Past.
Yes.
Wore my 17-0 shirt that I got for Christmas,
Yes.
and wore my new Dolphins dunks, and they are all 1-0. And I think that might be the winning formula moving forward.
So that is a great point that you just made. So the best way to follow us outside of the channel. So if you are new to the channel, make sure you subscribe and drop a like. It's the best way to support. But other ways to support are going over to Twitter. Trey is at sad Fins fan. That's with a PH. So check Trey out because he had some great posts. I am on That's So Fins. That it's I was on one yesterday. I can't help it.
Yeah,
There's a lot of
yeah,
people that irritate me, and I was letting them have it. So it's the lava lamp of love, it was a great addition, and the 17-0 shirt. You had a great saying on there in your Twitter about you go 17-0. We had to have a backup quarterback come in and save that
yeah,
season.
yeah.
How
We
did
had
you
to
not
have
remember
backup.
that?
I didn't either, and then it hit me. Like I had
Yep.
that shirt on, I looked down at it, and I thought about Snoop Huntley. I thought about how we've had awful backup quarterbacks, and I said, you know what? He's going to find a way to win this football game. And quite literally,
Yeah.
if any like he had that rushing touchdown that no other quarterback on the roster can do, including Tua. He made some plays like with his legs that no other quarterback can do. So it wasn't like sure he managed the game well. He didn't turn the ball over, which is exactly what you want out of your backup quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
And sure, the defense literally shut them down, which is exactly what you expect out of a top 10 defense against a third string quarterback. So
Yeah.
like everyone did their job, which is awesome. But then there's that extra added playmaking ability that he brings that Skylar Thompson obviously does not. Tim Boyle obviously does not. Like he kind of fits into that backup quarterback mold that can make enough plays to win a football game, and that's good to have. I'm hoping we don't need to see him again the rest of the year, but if we do, I feel a little bit better knowing that he can put that product on the field, and also knowing I have to give McDaniel credit the offense looked a little bit more traditional with
Mm-hmm.
we still had some of the motions, but it was a lot of bang routes. It was a lot of, the one step slants, getting the ball in placemakers' hands, and then also calling the pass protections that allowed him to have those off platform throws to Tyreek and Malik Washington, who both I think had like really crucial games. We've been really critical of Tyreek, and like he's as soft as some of the players on this team are.
Mm-hmm.
He's played all year hurt. His wrists are bad. You can tell his knees banged up. He's
Yeah.
definitely not the same quickness. And but he's still gutting it out because he knows that like he's a leader on this team and that needs to follow, which is the opposite of the other AFC version of the Dolphins, which is the Colts, who, as you can see, their leaders aren't able to pull their team across the finish line because their leaders are bad.
Yeah.
We have a bad team with one of the best leadership groups between Calais, Tyreek, Jalen. You talk about someone like Zach Sealer,
Hmm.
guys like that who have been around for a while and who have been in the league for a while. Jalen Ramsey, like all these guys that like know what it's like to be on good teams, bad teams, and are just trying to keep the morale. Jordan Brooks, dude, fucking rock star signing.
Yeah, give him an extension today, and give
Yeah,
Jonu an extension now too. Just line them up for extensions. I don't even care
yeah,
what you got to do. Make it happen because those two need to be on the team next year. If we're gonna, I mean, like literally, I don't know what you have. There needs to be some type of there needs to be big changes made on the offensive side of the football. I'm still pro signing a different running back. I know Raheem has been gutting it out all year with a broken sternum, but I'm ready to let Raheem go. I'm ready to get a bigger style back. Like I think my biggest complaint with the offense is that there's we're supposed to be a good balanced offense has yin and yang. Like if you look at the Eagles, like they have Saquon who can take the pressure off of Jalen, who can then take the pressure off AJ Brown, who can then take the pressure off, Goddard and all of those, everybody, all the weapons that they have. They're
right,
very balanced because they're all different style players. And
right,
all the Dolphins are all the same style players. We're all speed, and that doesn't
yeah,
work. If as soon as somebody slows your speed down, you have nothing. And that's
right.
why
And
I
that's a
want.
we don't have
There's no variety. We're a
right, and we
bland.
don't
We're a
have that
bland
big body
cake.
guy. Right. We don't have a big body guy that can put the team on their back, make a contested catch over the top. Like we don't have any of that really. Right. We have we're a speed team. That's the way we're built right now. So I think as we look forward to like the future of the Dolphins, like outside of offensive guard and safety being our two biggest needs, in my opinion. We need to find some big body guys. One to replace Durham Smythe, one to replace the combination of Raheem Mostert and Jeff Wilson, and one to replace, or even an addition by subtraction, a removal of probably a River Craycraft's going to have to be the odd man out of this offense in in hopes that we bring on a bigger body type guy.
Yeah, yeah, and my God, Durham Smythe. I don't understand what happened to that guy year over year. Like he was at least serviceable. You could put him out there, and at least he would get his job done at least 90% of the time. I don't know a good play he's had all season. I can't find one. I can't remember one. He
Yeah,
is bad. He is really
yeah, bad,
bad.
bad. Yeah.
But I had a little tickle in the back of my head when you said River Craycraft because it's starting to turn into Craycraft season.
Dude, he did have a big catch.
He starts getting a
Big
little
catch.
hot. He starts getting hot. We need Craycraft back.
We
So
do, dude. If listen, we need someone to just step up and make plays that hasn't all year.
yeah, yeah, and that and I guess it's incredible to me to think that this defense is a top five defense statistically in the NFL because it doesn't look and or feel like it half
Well,
the time, but they
we've
are.
played one of the easiest schedules in the NFL. Like,
And
let's not forget
that's what's
that.
really
So we're
disappointing. That's one of the most disappointing things that we're finally 500 as for the first time since week 2. I guess the bigger thing is like if you're thinking about we were 2-6 and we're still in it going into the last game of the season. We literally said it's going to come down to this Jets game no matter what. It will come down to the Jets game, and I
I'm
guess
telling you, if you go back to listen to our first, when we are 2-6, or
we said
anytime
it. We said
throughout
it
the
week
early
one.
part of this, any part, dude, we literally said we are going to find a way to be 9-8 because that's who the Dolphins are.
Yeah,
Okay, so usually we go 6-2 and then 2-6, and this year, like we said was going to happen, we went 2-6 and 6-2, and it comes down to
dude.
like it's the
It,
same shit. It's like my golf game. I'm gonna go out there and shoot a 92 to 94, and it's either gonna be a 39 50 something, or it's gonna be a 42 to 50, or it's gonna be a 55 to a 30. Like there's just so many options, but it's still gonna be the same fucking number in the end. So
yeah,
we're a 9-8 football team trying to back into the playoffs, which is fine. At least
it's.
we're not a 6-9 football team.
I mean, I guess that. Yeah, no, I agree on that. I was thinking about this last night because I was muddling around in the basement because I was irritated. And I was thinking about how every Dolphin season has gone under McDaniel, where they start so hot, where it's like, it looks like we could go 13-3 and, or whatever we would go. We could get 13 wins out of this season. And then we just turn into hot dog water. And for some reason, this has been we had the Uno reverse card pulled on us this year, where it was so bad so early, and it's never really gotten like great. I would say honestly, the high point of the season would be like that loss,
Rams.
the
Yeah, the
Rams,
Rams game. The Rams game or the Bills. The Bills lost,
the Bills. Yeah, I was gonna say the Bills lost and the
which
Rams.
is
Like,
fucking hilarious. Leave it to the Dolphins though. Too. We literally just named a high point of the season a loss.
it's like, yeah, because you look. Here's the thing that I'm saying about like the point that I want to make about the Bills is that I don't think the Bills have a really good defense. Now they are so good on offense. They're significantly better than I think they've ever been on offense. But I think that there is a window if you're going to I don't know. The Bills absolutely own the Dolphins. It is without a doubt. Josh Allen is the Dolphins' daddy. He's gonna bend him over and spank that ass every single time. It does not matter. But if there was ever a chance, this feels kind of like that style of team because if you take away two really bad plays, one Jordan Poyer Saboteur play and it's just an awful another pass interference call or whatever. Like the Dolphins had a chance to, they would have been kicking that field goal for the win, not the
Yep.
Bills.
Yep.
So if we turn the clocks back 2 years ago to those first Dolphins Bills games where they played last time they played three times in one season, Dolphins won that really close one. Then they had the really close loss, and then they had another close loss in the playoff game. Finns have already had the two like the close loss in Buffalo.
We're due. We're due.
We're due. I'm just saying we're due. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm just saying we're due.
We are due.
Because in the other point that this is unrelated to the Dolphins, but if the Bengals are going into Buffalo, I would hate to be a Bills fan. I'd hate to be a Bills fan.
Oh, I don't want to see
Cincinnati's
the Bengals
walking in.
Dude, if I'm honestly as a Bills fan,
I'm praying for the Dolphins.
I want the I'd say okay, let's go. Like
Yeah.
let's play. I don't even want to play the Broncos.
Heck no. You're rooting for the Chiefs and the Finns this weekend.
Literally, like you would, which is fine. Like, dude, we're just trying to get into the dance. We're getting into the dance type team. We're not sitting here trying to say, we just want to get into the dance and see what happens. So don't say.
We just want to be invited. We're not going to
be
dance when we get
to the
there.
Party and maybe get a little appetizer. Heck, maybe even have a lead going into half. Okay, lead going into half. Let us have fun till half, and then let something else figure it out.
Let us have fun for 3/4 and then blow us out.
Let me get one song, a lip wetter, and a Josh Allen turnover in the game.
And then
leading at half. Excitement, and then whatever happens after that, I can accept, right? So, I still think that we can beat them. We're due, but
we are due.
But regardless of all that, it comes down to can we beat the Jets?
Do the Jets set anybody? Is Rodgers going to set?
No, he's going to play.
He's going to play.
He wants to play all. He wants to play all 17.
Garrett
Wilson might opt out because he apparently hates Aaron Rodgers and doesn't want to be a Jet.
I mean, that's fine. I don't care.
And Sauce Gardner is tweeting that he's telling no one to come to the or posting on Instagram. He's telling no one to come to the Jets.
Yeah, I mean things are really blowing up there. If it would, we had said all year long that this season is going to come down to this Jets game, and this is why the Jets scare me because like they can just kind of if they want to do it, they will. And I'm afraid that we're going to walk into MetLife with Snoop. I don't want to walk in there with Snoop. I'd rather walk in there. I'd rather go down with Tua. That's just me.
Sure, I'd obviously not even a question, but I feel much better walking into MetLife with Snoop today than I did Sunday morning.
I agree. I was really irritated Sunday morning. I did not.
And when I found out Tua was doubtful because I don't think there's ever been an NFL player to be doubtful in play. Like
Yeah.
maybe I don't know if Terrell Owens was doubtful in that Super Bowl when he had a torn ACL and still played. Like maybe, but it's like super. Like
Yeah.
I no one was talking about that even being a possibility. Like Doubtful was basically out.
Right.
We had thought that maybe Doubtful was like, okay, if they're eliminated, he won't play, which would still be questionable in my opinion. So like the
Right.
doubtful tag, I don't know. The doubtful tag is literally used unless maybe the Toradol will like give him superhuman powers the next day. If not, he's out. So super depressed Sunday because the last time Snoop was on the field for us, he was
Bad.
awful.
It was bad.
But we got insight from McDaniel in his press conference that Snoop took over that backup QB job and allowed them to get rid of Skyler, basically de
Thank
facto. But
God.
because throughout the practices, he was doing things on the scout team offense to our defense that was eye opening. So like he was starting to get his playmaking ability back while also dipping his toes into our offense more and getting more comfortable. So it did kind of feel like the team wasn't really wavered about it because they'd seen him practice and it had been successful. And Snoop looked comfortable yesterday. He was making plays.
Hmm.
He was aggressive. Like
Yeah.
that was good backup quarterback play. And he needed his player. Like Malik Washington made a huge catch. A
Hmm.
lot of players made plays, which is what you need to win a backup QB game. It's like a bullpen game in the World Series. You
Yeah.
need your hitters to score runs because you're bringing out guys that are going to pitch 1 to 2 innings all game,
Right. Yep.
right? That was a bullpen game for the Dolphins, and they found a
Yeah.
way to win, and it was fucking disgusting. And the penalties are atrocious, and it's poor coaching, and there's a lot that we can talk about. But we're talking about it on a Victory Monday versus, like, they easily could have laid over. Calais is 100 fucking years old, dude. Tyreek's hurt and is a billionaire. All
Yeah.
these guys could easily not give a fuck. There's dudes that are on 1 year prove it deals that are like, all right, I'm out. Jordan Poyer has no ties to the Dolphins, no legacy. Like all these guys could have just laid the fuck over, and they didn't. We went
Yeah.
from 2-6 to 6-2. We're 8-8, and that means a little something to me. It reminds me of that Dan Campbell turnaround. Okay. In saying that, in saying that, if we do not find a way to get out of our own way, we are just going to continue to be the same team. So
I yeah.
like
I agree.
beyond this week, like even if we do run it back, there has to be a change somewhere. Maybe it's not the leadership with Greer and McDaniel as though I would like it to be with Greer. Maybe it's in the offensive coordinator type role or allowing Bevel to have more of a say in the offense or the play calling, like because that's been our biggest Achilles heel in this offense. Yeah, it's Tua's availability, but it's the inconsistencies from the offense. It's a 30-yard gain and a holding call or a fucking receiver toss for a loss of 20. So like those are the
Yeah.
things that need to change. But again, in saying that, we're talking about it on a Victory Monday with a Week 18 game that fucking matters.
Yeah. If you would have said when we were 2-6 that there would be a week 18 meaningful game, we would have taken it at that point, and we're here. So it in that respect it feels good, but there's just so many glaring issues. Like obviously if you're in the hunt, you're a flawed football team. There's a lot of flaws, and both Cincinnati and Miami, like Cincinnati has an awful defense. Miami is wildly unpredictable of which side of the ball is going to show up. So it's kind of all come down to this. And
So
if
both games are 425.
yeah,
Um,
I don't
which I
like the
knew
four
they would
o'clock
do. I
game.
thought there was a chance they might go
I want the 1 o'clock.
Dolphins to start and then you're froze. You're back. Okay. I thought there was a chance they would go Dolphins at 1
Uh-huh.
and then with the Dolphins predicted to win, that would guarantee all eyes on Chiefs Broncos.
Oh, okay,
That would
yeah.
make sense for ratings,
Uh-huh.
right? They also could have went the other because the problem is if they start the Chiefs at 1 and the Chiefs lose, then the Dolphins game's meaningless.
Right. When's
So the
the
Chiefs game was never going to be first.
when's the Chiefs game?
Same time as Dolphins, 425.
Oh, okay. I thought the Bengals game was at 425 too.
No,
No,
so
they're at
what's
one
going to happen
o'clock.
is it's going to be the yeah.
Okay, it's gonna be the Bengals are gonna be at 1. Dolphins Chiefs are going to play at the same time, and then we'll know by 7 o'clock if Fins are in or not, and we'll be
Right.
together, hand in hand.
We will be hand in hand
That will be,
together. And
yeah.
we're either having it's either going to be a playoff prediction podcast or it's going to be a how do we rebuild this team podcast.
I don't even want to predict. I don't even want to predict. Hopefully, we're looking ahead to Wild Card Weekend. This will be the first season doing this. We haven't made playoffs if we lose. But yeah, we are back here. We will be in live in person next week, and you'll be able to see us. And it's either gonna be really happy or it's gonna be really sad. So, but yeah, make sure you hit subscribe and like the channel because that's how we're gonna grow ski here. So help us at and
Help us out.
help us at. So all right, we'll see you next week. Fins play at 425. Big Jets loss is coming in here. Big Jets loss. Big Fins dub.
BJL. BJL.